Welcome back to The Voices, another episode from New York City. I am Carlos Lamarche, and today we have the pleasure to going to start a conversation with Cesar Vargas. He's a writer, director, producer, and culture critic. His works has been published by Huffington Post, NBC, Fox News, among others. He's an expert in pop culture, human behavior, and social issues. He was named one of the Huffington Post 40 under 40 Latinos in American politics. Of course, he was born in the Dominican Republic, and as many Dominicans being as a guest here in The Voices, he came at the age of 12, 13 to New York City. Welcome, Cesar.
Thank you, Carlos, for inviting me on the show. It's a pleasure, it's an honor to be speaking to you right now, to a fellow Dominican. I appreciate the invite.
No, I appreciate your time and you quickly respond to when I propose to you not only come to the podcast, also to be involved in the event we're going to have in October. Cesar, you, like I say in the intro, I've been finding out you moved to New York in the 90s, no?
Yes, in 1991, by November 1991.
So a lot of people are around your age, Dominican too, they move at that age to New York City. Even I will say people like older than you, the ambassador of United States in Spain, she moved from Salcedo. I've been reading and collecting all this information about you amazing Dominicans doing great things in the United States. She moved to the age of 12. How was that for you? What do you remember those days you were living in Sosua? You were born in Sosua?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I would tell wow, that was you're talking about amazing people. You're one of them as well. When I look through your work and I'm like, oh my God, this you've got a lot of stuff to show to the world, and I appreciate that the intro. Yeah, when I came here, I was Dominicans when they go back, right? When they come visit, and then especially back then that we didn't have it, the videos, we didn't have the Instagrams or TikToks, or so we would imagine what the states are, especially New York, by what your family members tell you. So my family, yeah, I have a cousin named Gio, and he was the one that I used to hang out with all the time, and he would come here to New York as a kid, but he told me like there were gold in the streets and I was gonna live in skyscrapers. So yeah, so they sell it to you with that manner. So I came, and then when we got to JFK, which is my brother Bedrick older than me, Billy, a cousin of mine too, and we came to JFK. We were passing through. We were looking at the skyscrapers, when you look outside to Brooklyn,
Yeah.
but we didn't land there. We landed in the hood in Brooklyn, which is called Bed-Stuy. And we I wasn't used to seeing buildings like together right next to each other like that, and like I was like, what is this? Are we gonna live like this? This feels like an aunt, what is it, like ants in one place.
Yeah.
uh but for me, it was a mix of like wonder and the culture shock that everyone experiences.
Shocking was arrive at the school and being and discover you are Dominican and how was the bullying? Tell me about that because it's a reality and I feel like Dominican, especially today, the young people, they don't even know that was the reality coming to New York.
Yeah, you're right about that. They didn't know because our numbers weren't as big back then. Our numbers, we were, there were a lot of Dominican, of course, came to New York, but
Yeah.
the community, in comparison to, let's say, the African American community, in comparison to Italians, Irish, and the Puerto Rican community, we were small numbers. But especially to the neighborhood that I was brought to, it was a mix of Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, but we were the minority there. And being a minority, unfortunately, in places that there's another group of people that have a lot more privileges in you,
Mhm.
because there is some privileges within our communities, right? Like Dominicans, if you're arriving a little later, you're not gonna know English. You're not gonna have the you struggle with English, for instance, even with the accent that we were talking about earlier. Like with me, that puts sort of like a few rocks on your way. But you have to have like this drive that what, I am confident in myself, I can do it. But yeah, when I came, that is how I became black. That's the name of the article on OK Africa. And that's yeah, to me there were so many things that I wasn't like, they just throw at you. You come from a culture that is like mostly everyone looks the same, and tenemos we have like one or two like a little lighter skin, or
Yeah,
people from in our families. Like I'm pretty sure like most Dominican families have from the darkest all the way to the lightest skin hue, and Dominicans don't, I wouldn't say like speak so much on that sense, right? We're talking about this, but for me, when I was like my students, my classmates would tell me, watch out for the morenos and watch out for these people. I'm like, what morenos? I'm like, how do I tell them apart from like, and why should I even should I even care? But that then I realized, but that it was because Dominican immigrants, especially Mexican immigrants as well, we were being bullied relentlessly, and it was bad. It was pretty bad at the time. It was pretty bad, and it's because, and I understand it's because we are confined to these like barrios, to these ghettos, right? They
yeah,
were confined here, and people, it's just like a domino effect of, you're being bullied by the system. Who are you going to take out your frustration on? Okay, there's somebody that's lower than me on that hierarchy
yeah.
of power,
As they
so I'm
become
going to kick them
better.
down.
But talking about your parents, and when you came home after, I assume when you decide what you're going to do for college, and you say you want to study film, theater, become a theater critic, what they say to you? Like they support you because
Uh, nah, I wanted to originally get into music, so music was my thing. And no, I don't, they weren't too they didn't stop me from pursuing my careers.
yeah,
But well, it was with my mother and my stepfather I grew up with, and film. They saw, okay, that I'm going to school, but they didn't interfere much in my schooling in that sense, as long that I was going. And my whole like grand plan at the time was like, you know what? Let me go to film school. If I strike it big, then I can, help out my community. I can help out everyone. So it's a gamble that you take. But at the time, I wasn't aware of like the dynamics of what, to get to that level and what privileges you need to have and where do you have to be, because making films is pretty expensive, right? It costs a lot of money, but it wasn't they didn't give me like a hard time in terms of that. So
but they were happy you were going to a school, you were going to pursue a college degree,
yeah, definitely glad that I did.
Because now, like talking about reality check in our communities, um, like the big gap to young people who go to college is huge. Like why Americans are 60% something, Asian 47, Black people are 28. 20% only the Latin community in New York City goes to college, and only 2% of the people who live in the Bronx, which are our community, is attending college. And this is 2023. What do you think we can do or what we can demand to close this gap?
Oh, there are multiple. Yeah, that's a great question because there are multiple things from what I've read, from what I've seen.
Mhm.
For people like us, like when I came here. And I was reading that people that come before the age of 15 already have a different mentality. They're more Americanized in a sense of pursuing something. People that come after 15, they're already thinking, those Dominicans that come here, I got to make it out there. I got to make a lot of money. I'm going to be rich. I got to make it somehow. But the kids that are born and raised here have a different mentality because they the access that they might not know about certain access to things, but they don't have that drive. They
Yeah,
don't have that insane drive that I would call that immigrants have, for instance,
yeah.
right? But yeah, to close the gap with us is right now we are getting multiple like we are getting from different angles, right? We're being attacked in terms of. Uh, we need, a lot of people that we need the money, right? A lot of people leave school and are like, what am I gonna do in school? We need the money to go to school. We need the money to support ourselves and our families.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, Others do it because they don't see a future in it. Because there are examples within a community of people that have gone to school, for instance, right, that can't find a job in corporate America.
Yeah,
So they see certain individuals. Like I experienced that with my siblings, right? My siblings were like, you know what? Well, my older brother, he did get his master's, but my youngest one saw Cesar got a degree in film, and he's struggling, with underemployment. So why should we go there? What would we bother then? We're gonna be weighted down by loans. So why should we bother with that? And there are a bunch of examples of people in our communities that do have degrees, and in a sense too, there is that detachment from our communities because now you have your folks who are like high school level education, and here it's a little even lower, right? And someone who has a college degree who has a wider understanding
yeah,
of the world. So there is a disconnect with you and your community now and with your own family.
yeah.
So now you're like, okay, you got a college degree, you're a little weird. You're not you're the intellectual now, and
You want to try to be better than us.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
but I never like showed that like I'm better than you in that sense, and but other people might perceive it as that
yeah.
when you try to yeah.
How they teach you how to learn to read, and it has a motive to train your brain, which is we can go deep in this, but I'm 100% with you. And a big topic I have here to talk to you is this political life we are right now, and it getting worse. And young kids are more like wine brains. That sorry, like you say,
Brainwashed the
was thank you. I was just thinking in Spanish because of social media, all these. What do you think is this is going to end?
oh man, now that you say, because it's not just the kids, and I've written about this. I wrote on my blog how to combat misinformation and disinformation within our communities, because even our parents, our grandparents, our siblings right now, they are getting, if they don't know where they're standing in terms of, what's morally right, what is the truth or what's not, because they didn't study it. See,
Yeah,
if they didn't study it, they didn't go to school, they are going to go that route. They're going to be misled. And a lot of them are being misled down the wrong path of, right now, for me, I'm terrified of what's happening with our people, our communities, because right now, and one of the things that I wanted to do too, I wanted to do like a podcast tackling the Spanish, misinformation and disinformation that we're getting right now.
yeah,
Because in English, it's wild, but there is a level of checks and balances, right?
yeah,
But for the Spanish speaking side, there's nobody doing that. There's nobody
yeah,
saying in a sense, listen, these people are misguiding you in this area just because they don't want to take your money or because they want that fame and that, because they're charismatic and you think they speak with authority because they're so confident.
yeah.
So you believe in every garbage that they say about, let's say, gay people are taking over the world. They want to brainwash your kids. So you see, so that's what they're, prior to that, I know folks that so, social media don't pay mind to that. They're gonna brainwash you, and they right now are being brainwashed by that hate, that nastiness that they're being preached.
Yeah,
And you think, what happened to this person? We lost this person. How do we get him back?
yeah.
How do we get these people back? And it's happening with our children, with our young community as well. Like how do we get them so they're not going this route? And that's gonna.
Let's start. Are you agree with the term like Latinx?
I agree with it, but I don't have a say in a sense that, what, I'm not non-binary, I'm not a trans man or trans woman. I'm not, for me, I wouldn't speak on people that, this is not. But I would say as a Latino,
Mm,
originally, because I didn't know about the term. Originally, I thought, what is the silly term of, how many names are they're getting calling us? And I have written about this that and it goes so deep because it's been not only misinterpreted, it's been purposely misinterpreted because there have been reports about this, right? There have been, which I've read the reports
Mm-hmm.
that, the majority of Latinos, right? They don't care that you call them Latinx. The majority of our people, and there's like maybe 25% or 30, I think, that don't like it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And maybe like 5 or 10% know about it, but the majority don't care. But then you have a very loud and very present community that is very against it, and they're speaking for the majority of Latinos. So if you're like 30% and 50% don't care, and you're part of the 30%, don't say that the Latinos don't care. But there is a minority that dislike the term. But then again, when Hispanic came around, which was invented by America, but it was in America, it was by which I spoke to the professor too. I was on a panel with him. It was made up a lot of not Dominicans, the Mexican community didn't want to embrace it, the term Hispanic or Latino, all in Puerto Rican. So it took some time for people to embrace it, and the way for people to embrace it is to be placed in schools and politicians to use it, right? But now it's being used. Right now, I think we lost the war on Latinx because it's being used so negatively that it's some white gay intellectual,
Yeah.
because it's always like it has to be the negative things that they think in their mind. You're a white liberal gay with color hair that came up with that term, and those are all the lies that our people are telling us in regards to Latinx.
Yeah.
But I have nothing against the term.
I understand.
Language is
That's why I ask you because yeah, it's like again, like they are telling or defining, us.
Yeah, yeah. I understand the language is fluid. Language is, the things that we call ourselves changes. It could be throughout our lifetimes, our lifetime, or it could be decades.
Yeah.
And we were Hispanic. Hispanic is a recent thing. Latino is a recent thing as well.
Yeah.
You know.
I've been not seeing in a while when you fill out a form, when they ask for your race, they took Hispanic from that. When I arrived
Mm,
in New York, like maybe it's my impression, but
mm.
when I arrived here like 11 years ago, you always check like, are you Hispanic? Now they put like, what is your race, and then you can check if you're Latino. Like, I don't
Yeah, it's messy, and I think the people that are involved with that are because they get people from legacy institutions. They are messing it up really bad. They are messing it up really bad because of certain interests that are getting involved in there. But with that is that, like we spoke, those terms, right now at this moment in my life, I try to err on the side of caution and compassion,
yeah,
because when you go so against something, you know, it's just like, why are you going so against it? Why are you so angry with it?
yeah,
Why are you so upset with it? Because even right now, Spanish and the Spanish speaking world, uh, we're using a lot of English words,
yeah,
especially the youth. The youth is not even just the youth. I'm talking about Dominicans when they come here, the Puerto Rican community, the Mexican community, somewhat that are here. People would say that you speak Spanish in English. Uh, you know, uh, uh, if you can say Bad Bunny, you can say Latinx. You understand what I'm saying?
yeah.
If you're saying parqueando, we're using a lot of English words. So there's some people that are saying that we're butchering the Spanish language,
Yeah.
but the Spanish language just evolves. And I love Spanish more than English. I love Spanish more than anything. I think Spanish is beautiful.
Oh,
But
for
reading in Spanish,
yeah,
listening to Spanish songs is a religious experience for me. But I understand where this is coming from, and I understand that are people that are trying to be inclusive of everyone. Yeah, it's I think it's lost at the moment,
yeah.
that war with Latinx, but we'll see.
We will see. What is your opinion about reggaeton and dembow, specifically? What is his name? Toquicha.
I wow, that's you know what, I've written who would I had an interview for with Wendy. Angulo, and she asked me what is the sort of music that I listen to, and I have a very eclectic taste in music. It can be, today it could be Juan Luis Guerra, and the next day it could be, it could be reggaeton. It could be, it could be even listening to Shakira, Me Enamoré, or La Tortura,
Mhm.
or Takesha. I think for me, and I know this is going to be controversial within the people that listen to me, uh, I am all for liberation. I am all for women liberation because a lot of people that I see too that are talking down on her listen to male rappers, right? And these male rappers are talking about, I'm gonna rape you, I'm gonna kill your family, I'm gonna, everywhere, I'm better than you. I just did a train with my boys with this woman, but there comes this woman that flips it on you, and now she's the devil. Now she's a demon. She's a Jezebel that needs to be taken out.
And you know what? They did exactly the same thing to Madonna 45
They
years
did that.
ago. She was excuse my French, a whore and everything, just because it's a woman doing. And I'm 100% with you. And I understand your point, and I validate it. Hate, and you are from the Dominican, I'm from CUNY, and you're from Harvard. If we all humans realize that, like, you know what, we are the same, and it's easy to say, but I don't listen that often anymore. So I think so. We have to common sense, and I thought Kobe will bring that, but my perception is no. I don't know, but yeah, I think so. We need more humans like you. I think so. The Dominican community is better because you exist, and Latino and the world. And I'm so fortunate to have the opportunity to interact with great Dominicans like you. And I get what you say about platforms because I work in the past with regular media, Hispanic media, and they have an agenda attached, no blaming them, attached to the economic results and sales, and they have their own um, system of production and what they want to continue telling to the community, and they don't want to push hard. And I think so. That's the good part of independent platforms. Like you can create and let's make little conscience. And if you have something interesting to bring to the table to educate people, just do it. Get involved and like take Mondays and do whatever. Even register in a little survey and help the community. I think so. We all have to do it, not just be famous and rich and have a voice to start doing something. And I think so. That's something we need to do too.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you 100%. And one thing that you said about the media, Spanish speaking media, there is a structure, yeah, that they serve their purpose to inform our communities about what's happening in the world, but they can't deviate, they can be too biased
No,
like this way. But independent sources, if people also support independent sources such as yourself, independent entities, then we can talk about these things freely without, someone pulling the strings on you like, hey, you can't be saying that because now you're gonna upset our conservative here that what was it that we were talking about earlier that was donating against like Planned Parenthood, because they're donating so much money. So I get why the media, is so confined, especially our media, to these sources, and they serve their purpose. They serve the purpose of building a community. But yeah, we need independent platforms such
yeah.
as yours to
Independent
discuss this
talent.
topic.
This is a little thing, but yeah, I think so. We have to turn that advocacy to toward like this platform reliable and get good information and discuss things with no reservation and call things how they are, not like trying to make up on because the world needs it now. We have to be honest and be on.
I agree. We should have the one of the things that I say we should have the freedom, to speak freely, right, without the fear of persecution. especially in our communities. We need to have these topics. We need to talk about among ourselves. Even, sometimes with people who are very, disagree with us completely in certain things. But I think we can work things out if we get together and speak about certain things, like we're doing right now. Although I don't think we disagree much.
Cesar, you have to go to pick your kid.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy. I look. I'm in Brooklyn, so it's no excuse. We're in the same city. I hope we can meet for coffee and take it from there and keep talking. The good talk is good.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Hey, listen, I'm holding you up to that. So we'll see each other in Brooklyn. I want to talk to you more, and hopefully we expand the conversation because
Oh,
I
you
love
should.
talking to
I
you.
tell you, I want you to moderate the voices, the panel. So,
Oh,
uh,
that's right. That's right. Thank you so much
yeah, we
for
have to meet in person. This is recording, whatever, but
the
we will do it because, yeah, I think so. It's important, and I really, really want to connect with Dominicans like you.
likewise, likewise. I appreciate that you're creating a community and space for us to
Thank
connect.
you for
Thank you.
saying yes immediately. You know,
Thank you. Thank you.
thank you, Caesar.